Welcome to the Craft Pit Stop. If you are new here, please click that subscribe button to be notified when I post my new craft videos. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this ghost tea light candle holder. This is a great craft that you can make and sell. It's a great craft to make as a decoration for your home or your desk at work. And it's also a great craft to do at Halloween class parties or just an arts and crafts class at school. Later on in the video, I will show you a modification on the top. Instead of using hemp cord, something else that you can use to make this a little bit quicker if you would choose to use this as a classroom craft. So with that being said, let's get started. The items that you will need in order to make this craft are a bottle of clear Elmer's glue. You might be able to use the white kind. I have not, so I'm not sure how that would turn out. You will need some white hemp cord to go around to the top of the jar. You will need one tea light candle holder. These are battery operated and they have a flickering effect, which looks really neat in the Halloween jars. And I picked these up at the Dollar Tree and they were 2 for $1. Another thing you will need is one piece of white tissue paper, and this measures approximately 6 inches by 6 inches. You will need an empty baby food jar. I prefer the taller ones because the faces, you can stretch the faces out a little bit better on these and they look a little bit nicer. And the last thing you will need is the actual face printout. I did not put the nose on the ghost because they were just a little bit too tiny of pieces to even try to mess with, so I strictly just did the eyes and mouth. The next thing you will want to do is remove the label from the baby food jar. There is a sticky residue on it, but you don't have to worry about removing it. We're using glue, so it's going to be sticky anyway. You'll want to cut out your face, and with your tissue paper, you'll want to cut this into smaller squares. Typically what I do is just cut long rows down this way. I stack all those up and then cut across that way to get the squares, which you can see here I've already taken care of that. Now what we want to do is take your glue and just make some zigzags up and down. You want to do this in small sections. You don't want to do the whole jar. If you would, it would end up dripping all over the place, which is why I have my notebook paper there, just in case it does drip. That's there for protection and also to wipe the excess off. You'll want to just put the tissue paper on, and this can just be done randomly. There's no rhyme or reason. And you want to make sure you get them overlapped because that gives it a lot more character once it gets dried. And you'll want to make sure that, get a smaller piece here, you get down, I always put mine down here along just under the edge of the bottom. And also, well, if I can get hold of it there, get up near the top. Okay, a little bit more glue. You want to make sure you get the tissue paper up close to the edge, the brim of the jar too. And if you notice, a lot of the tissue paper, some of it's not sticking and it's sticking out. Don't worry about that. The next step, I'll show you how to smooth all that out and take care of that. And I will be right back as soon as I get all the tissue paper on. I now have all of my tissue paper on. And you can see all the edges sticking up everywhere, which I said we'll take care of that here in just a moment. There are a few spaces right there and there, and what I've done is just taken some squares and cut them in half so that I can fill in these little smaller spaces that I didn't get to. Like that. Looks like one right there. think these two are the last spots. There. All right, now what you want to do is take your glue and put it on pretty heavy again. And then you just want to easily smooth it over all of your edges. And it will flatten everything out for you. And you can use a lot of glue on this because you want to make sure all the edges stay down. And you'll continue to add more glue and smooth it out all the way around. And I'll be right back as soon as I get that done. As you can see, got the glue smeared all the way around, clear down to the base. So everything is laying down and fairly smooth. Now the next thing we want to do is go ahead and add the face. I do not recommend letting this dry first and then adding the face. I tried that and it was not very good. So what we'll do is just add it on there. And the good thing with the back being so wet is you can slide the pieces around until you find a spot that you like them. And I am actually pretty good with it being right there. So then we'll just add a little bit more glue over top of it. And again, we will lightly smear the glue over it. You don't want to push too hard or it will move the pieces around. And there you go. Now the next step will be adding the hemp to the top, but you want to let this completely dry. It takes roughly, I think, 6 hours for all the glue to completely dry. I would recommend just doing this at night or in the evening and letting it dry overnight, or first thing in the morning and letting it dry all day before moving on to the next step. And what you'll want to do to let this dry is just flip it upside down, just like that. And there you go. This guy I already did ahead of time so that it had time to completely dry. And you can see how that turned out. It's got like a foggy effect. And now, before we add the hemp cord, if you would decide to do this in a classroom setting and would want to make it a little bit quicker, instead of using the hemp cord, you can use a 3/8 inch ribbon of any color. I don't have any white, but I do have black, so I just figured I'd show you what it looked like. And then you just put it around the edge like that and glue it on. Now, for the hemp cord, I don't have an exact measurement of how much you use. I just put it on and wind it, so it just really depends on how thick you want it. To get it started, I always start in the back. And tape that on. That holds it in place. And then all you'll do is keep a hold of it as you go around, because you want to make it kind of tight. Keep it tight, that way it doesn't slide around a lot. I always start right under the brim of the jar. And then as you're going around, you just move up to the next row. And the further up you get, the spacing in between, you can just continue to add more rows until it's thick the way you like it. And you will continue doing this until you have as much hemp cord on there as you would like. And I'll be back in just a moment to show you what that looks like. I have now got the hemp cord completely wrapped around to the thickness that I would like. So to finish it off, piece of tape that I put there at the beginning, I'm going to fold that back and add my end piece right there. And just fold it up to hold it in place, just like that. Cut the end off. And now what you want to do, and you can actually bring this up closer if you'd like. When you're bringing it around, bring it around that row. That way it doesn't have that line there right in the middle, but that'll be okay. All right, now you want to take your glue and you're going to soak your hemp in it. This way, when it dries, it will keep everything in place. Make sure you get plenty on the bottom row because it likes to slide down, and same with the top row. If you get plenty on there, then it won't pop off the top. It'll stay put. And it's okay if you get a little bit more on the face. If you do, just smear it around and it'll dry. Just like that. And this piece, these end pieces, I'll typically let it dry just a little bit more and then push them up and then they'll stay in place. There you go. And now with the tape, once it does dry, let it completely dry for several hours again, and then you can pull the tape up and clip that off if you don't want that back there. And that's all you'll do. And then once it is completely dried, you will add your tealight candle holder light, tealight candle light in it, and it looks really neat when it's got the flickering effect. So thank you for watching my video. Again, if you're new, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share. Have a great day. Thanks.